In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a simple plugin that you can use with the Excel batch processor to work with multiple Excel files really quickly. First of all, let's take a look at my setup. I've got my Excel batch processor.exe in a folder. I've got a plugins folder, a folder where I'm keeping all the files that I want to process, and a folder for the output files. I've chosen to name these my files and output, but you could name them whatever you like. The files that I'm going to be working with are just a bunch of simple blank files. Actually, there's nothing in them at all. Pay special attention to the EBP plugin contracts.dll file here because we'll be needing that one in a minute. Now, if we were to run the program right now, it wouldn't do anything because there are no plugins in the plugin directory. So first, let's create a plugin. I'm going to go to Visual Studio and create a new solution. It's going to be a class library in the .NET framework, and I'm going to name it, say, Hello Plugin. Once the solution is ready, we're going to need to add the references that we're going to need for our project. Since we're going to be working with EP+, the first thing we need to do is install the EP+. So we can just go to our NuGet packages and get EP+ from there. The other thing we're going to need is a reference to the EBP plugin contracts.dll that we saw earlier. As the name suggests, this assembly is the contract between your plugin and the main EBP application so that both parties can communicate with one another. The Excel batch processor expects its plugins to implement a specific interface that's defined in this assembly. So let's add our reference. We go to our project, we click Add, Reference. We're going to browse and we're going to find the location of our EBP plugin contracts.dll. Add that in, and we're good to go. So for our plugin, what we want to do is we want to create a class that's going to implement a specific interface. So I'm going to name my class, say hello, and we're going to implement the iExcel process interface. And if it's not detecting that, you're going to have to use the EBP plugin contracts reference, which IntelliSense can just set up for you really quickly. Then we want to implement the interface, and the interface is really simple. It's just a public run method that's void. It takes a path to the actual file that we're going to be processing and an Excel workbook object. I'm not going to get into how to use this Excel workbook object and the whole EP+ library. There's a lot of reference material on the internet that you can look up to learn how to do that. For now, I'm just going to create a simple method that adds the text hello world to the cell A1 on the first sheet of our workbook. So I'm just going to create a sheet. Make sure you use sheet number 1 because sheets are 1 indexed in EP+. And then we're going to go sheet.cells, first cell, first column. We're going to set the value equal to hello world. And we're done. That's our plugin. Now we just set our build configuration to release, build our solution, and we're done with Visual Studio. So now we need to actually get at that plugin we've just created, and that's going to be located in your Visual Studio Projects folder, wherever you saved it. Mine's here under Say Hello Plugin. You go into your binaries file or directory, go under Release, and if you know what you're doing, you can actually just grab the files that you need here, but I'm just going to grab everything and toss it into my plugins directory. And now we're good to go. So we should go to the command line. You can just go to your start menu, type CMD. We're going to navigate to the directory where we have our EBP, which is, for me, it's desktop EBP demo. And we're just going to run this Excel batch processor.exe file. We're going to pass it a couple of flags. The first is the input flag, which tells it where to get the files to process. And in my case, I've chosen to put that under the My Files directory, so I'm just going to type My Files. And we're also going to pass it the output flag, which tells it where to place the processed files so that it doesn't overwrite your existing files. And for me, I've chosen to put that in the folder output. So then we just hit enter, and it's done. And if our plugin worked correctly, we should see, there we go, a bunch of processed files in our output directory, and each one of them has hello world written to the first cell.